Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I am joined this evening by my partner in crime, well, one half of the partners in crime. I'm joined by Callum. Callum, this evening, how are we?
Not too bad, bro. How are you?
Yeah, not doing too bad. Obviously, there's no Jamie with us this evening. He is enjoying his well-earned. He's taken the international break.
Yes.
And he's going off on his holiday with the family, enjoying multiple runs. Very, very jealous. But he'll be all rested up. But he'll be back on the channel as soon as he's back from holiday. But
yeah,
Callum, we've got some things to discuss. You know, the UFC.
We have some topics.
Been churning out quality. You're thinking, is there going to be any news? And obviously, you've had Dana's yanked Callum's internet straight away. But just before we get into the topics, everyone smash the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Links to the Sanderson Show and Jamie Phillips' channels all in the link below. So make sure to sub to those guys as well. I said that Dana's just yanked your Wi-Fi off because he's a bit touchy about this subject. So
I tell you what, it's just been on one all day, man. It's bloody annoying.
So we know that it's been Dana versus the media. You know, he has to keep John Jones happy by talking about, he's the pound for pound, and he said he's going to drop something. Oh, he dropped something, all right. I'm going to play it. I am going to play it. I'm going to drop probably the most shameless thing I have ever seen in my life. And I'm just going to play it. Just going to play it now.
When John Jones steps into the octagon, you're looking at the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time. He's beaten every human being he's ever competed against. He's the GOAT.
In my soul, I know who I am. It's the GOAT, and I always win.
The youngest champion in UFC history at 23 years old.
Oh, my goodness! John Jones! That, ladies and gentlemen, is the future.
The most championship wins in the history of this organization.
Avoided no one, dominated everyone. The most unique talent in the history of sport.
We cannot deny the greatness. Taking out champion after champion, legend after legend.
John Jones is not willing to lose.
I'm the greatest of all time. Come get a taste. When you talk about who's the baddest dude in the world, you put two guys in a room, and John Jones walks out of that room every time.
King of the game, I'm doing my thing, I'm paving the way, believe me.
He has remained at the top while still being one of the most exciting fighters on planet Earth.
He's unparalleled. He has dominated all challenges.
He took out generations of fighters, one after the other.
John has been beating everybody they put in front of him. He is the GOAT.
John Jones beat everybody at light heavyweight, then moved up and not only beat the best heavyweight in the division, it only took him 2 minutes to do it.
John Jones, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
The throne is over.
The greatest of all time, ladies and gentlemen, John Jones.
The greatest of all time.
Yeah, so that dropped. Yeah, so that dropped. Your first reactions to this masterpiece from Dana White?
All right. So here's the thing. Not many people have been arguing about whether he's the GOAT or not. That's a completely different conversation.
Yeah.
The conversations around John Jones now are two topics. If you're going to continue to be the heavyweight champion, your next opponent should be the interim heavyweight champion, who is Tom Aspinall. If you want to fight Stipe Miocic, relinquish the title and fight Stipe Miocic for legacy.
Mm.
The second conversation is, are you the pound for pound current best fighter?
Yes.
No one is speaking about GOAT status. So them putting this video out once again just shows how lack of touch that Dana White has with the MMA community. Not many people are arguing about the GOAT stuff. Most people will have John as the GOAT. Me personally, I don't, because of the infringements he's had in his career. In terms of talent, There has never been a more talented fighter than John Jones. Never. And there might never be.
No.
But the conversation isn't about GOAT. The conversation isn't about if you put all of these men in a room, who's the one that comes out. That's not the argument. I guarantee if you put Anthony Joshua in a room with Canelo Alvarez, or in fact, I'll go one step further. I guarantee if you put Anthony Joshua in a room with Terence Crawford and say, look, fight to the death, I'm guaranteeing you Anthony Joshua is the one that walks out of that room. Doesn't make him a pound for pound better fighter than Terence Crawford, though. Because pound for pound is a fictional list whereby you presume that everyone is the same size and the skills remain the same.
Yeah.
So you either make everyone Jones's size or you shrink Jones down to Islam's size, for example.
Yeah.
How does he match up with how does the current John Jones match up with the current Islam Makhachev? That is what it is. And not just that, it's activity as well. It's bloody activity as well. You cannot remain number one if you're not active. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And the fact that Dana's put this video out, one, completely dumps on all the other fighters in the UFC. Because I ain't seen any promo. I ain't seen a package like that. Pause. I ain't seen a package like that for Makhachev, O'Malley, McGregor. I ain't seen any of these unless there's a fight coming up. I don't just see these random packages come out on the Contender Series. If you're going to go down that route and start promoting fighters like that, then I'm all for it. Yeah. Bro, we both watch wrestling. How often do you see them do these little packages for like the different wrestlers? That's fine. It's not, but they don't just do it for one, they do it for all of them.
Yeah.
What are you saying to the rest of the UFC star roster if you're just doing this for John Jones? What are you saying to the rest of the roster? If they get injured in their champion, you're going to tell them to relinquish. Are you going to put pressure on them to defend? I doubt it. You can't now because you've already set the precedent with John Jones. It doesn't make sense what he's doing. No one is disputing, or very few people are disputing whether he's the GOAT or not. And if he's not the GOAT, he's in everyone's top three. Everyone's top three.
Yeah.
The conversation is about his current activity and the fact he's held up a division, and you've got an interim challenger who's having to an interim challenger who's defended the belt more times than Jones has defended his belt. How he doesn't see that as a fundamental issue, and that he's the one making problems for the sport that he's brought to the forefront of the world. The fact that he can't see that means he's so close to the sport that he's blinded by it. I keep on saying it. He's the reason UFC is where it is. If he continues the way he's going, he's going to be the reason why the UFC diminishes as well.
Yeah, I'll just go through a couple of comments here. Big up everyone that's tuned in. Big up AJ, saying big up Luke and Cal. Big up Theo as well.
Big up AJ, big up Theo.
And then Theo with a great comment. Before I go on my little, daily, I feel like it's a daily thing.
Yeah.
John Jones isn't a draw anymore. Don't understand the push from him, especially from Dana. Facts. He's not been a draw. And I have to say,
so really sorry to cut you, bro. Really sorry. Did you watch the MMA Guru video on?
Oh yeah, I watched the whole breakdown of when the one Dana versus the media.
Okay, he said one thing in that video, and again, I've never met MMA Guru. He mentioned that he lives in South London, so I may bump into him one day. That'd be fun. I never met him, never spoken to him. He puts out content, some of which I'm not a fan of, but he's also a brilliant content creator as a whole. He mentioned one thing in there that really, really sticks. Two things actually that really stick with me. The first thing was the UFC are going out of their way to manufacture their version of a Michael Jordan.
Oh, you know what? I was literally going to bring this up. But you carry on. I know because they are so desperate. Because in the world of American sport,
there's one person that stands out.
Got their franchise player.
Basketball is Michael Jordan or LeBron. NFL is Brady, right?
NFL, yes, probably Brady.
What have you? Baseball, no idea.
Beirut,
but there is someone.
Maybe
Beirut. What other sports they got?
Swimming, you got Michael Phelps, for an example.
Phelps.
gymnastics, you got Simone Biles. Like a
Yeah.
standout for that. When you look at the sport, you go, yeah, that's the one. And I completely agree. They are trying to manufacture him, trying to make him the good guy. He ain't
And
no
then
good guy.
the other thing that MMA Guru said that really hit home,
Yeah.
how they treat Jones in comparison to a Jose Aldo, for example.
Oh my.
Squeaky clean outside the cage, squeaky clean as far as we know inside the cage as well.
Yeah.
Look how he's being treated. He ain't getting he's got more right to pick fights at bantamweight than Jones has at heavyweight. But he's not doing
got
that.
more right for a title shot.
It's crazy.
Which is crazy because obviously I don't want to really touch on this forever, but I do have to disagree with some of the things that was made. If this is a marketing thing, you're pulling some of this up because some of it it's not factually true.
Yeah, he didn't
He's
dominate
not
Dominic
undefeated.
Reyes.
He is not undefeated. He has a loss on his record. Okay, was the ref crap? Possibly.
The referee
Tough shit.
wasn't. The referee wasn't. He did an illegal move, and the referee decided the opponent who received the illegal move was incorrect. The same thing happened to Peter Yan. Dana White doesn't say that Peter Yan won the fight against Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling was losing that fight against Peter Yan. Peter Yan made an illegal move. Aljamain Sterling couldn't continue the fight. He lost the fight. Dana White doesn't come out and say, "Nah, Yan's undefeated." He doesn't do it.
No.
It's ridiculous, man.
Oh, it's just the thing that doesn't get one. He's not undefeated because one, he's got the loss. Plus, he has a no contest. You know, when everyone goes, "What's John Jones' signature win?" That you go, that lives in the memory. Mine is the DC head kick. Sorry, Cal. DC.
It is though.
Yeah.
It is.
Everyone thinks, "Oh my god, look, he KO'd DC with the head kick." No contest.
Yeah.
His most iconic win is a no contest because he popped.
And they still have him winning that fight. They still have that as a win for him.
Still had it down as a win. He is not undefeated. He has not fought all comers, all challengers. He's not fought the best at heavyweight.
And he's not dominated everyone. He hasn't dominated everyone.
Dominated anyone. Did everyone forget the back end of his light heavyweight career? Where I'm not gonna lie, if Anthony Smith didn't have fucking damn, I got hit with a illegal move, but I still fight to the end. That would have been the second loss on his record for another illegal strike. Because Anthony Smith should have taken, taken the belt off him and got pay-per-view points. But it's pride took over instead of being the champion. It took him to a decision. Got taken to a decision by Thiago Santos.
With
No
two bad
knees.
knees. And I thought Thiago could have had a shout with winning that fight.
And then he lost to Dominic Reyes.
Yeah.
Who Dana White admitted that he lost. And obviously, when Dana got pulled up about it, when Dana then got pulled up about the fight in the press conference, that one when it was him versus the media, he said, I don't call fights. I don't call fights, you see. I don't judge fights. Well, maybe you should actually take one of the judging courses before you spout nonsense in post-fight presses. Because you're supposed to be running this company. So
if might be Trump get back in.
Yeah. If you speak so highly about these fights or you think you know everything, then maybe you should take a referee's course or a judging course before you start thinking, Jones lost, then backtrack a few years later because I feel like that he's begging him to be like a big star because McGregor is out on the sidelines at the moment, and they need that draw, that buzz. And it also, when John Jones tweeted about the GOAT thing, when you zoom into the bottom left, It literally says, "I am ducking Tom Aspinall."
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. He literally admitting on that thing where it says, "I am the GOAT." You zoom into the bottom left. This is on his Twitter. Zoom into the bottom left. It literally says, "I'm ducking Tom Aspinall," which I think he's done it to troll. He's doing. He's obviously doing it to troll. Are you frozen, Callum, or are you just in shock? Yeah, I think Calvin's frozen. I think he's having some issues with his their technology. But yeah, the other thing, he's not for all comers, because remember after John Jones vacated his belt at light heavyweight, and then he said, "You know what, I'm going to take some time out. I'm going to, bulk up a bit for heavyweight, and then I want to fight Francis." And we're thinking, you know what, that has to be a hell of a fight. Take your time, and we look forward to see the Francis fight. Yeah, that fight never happened. That fight never happened. And it was all umming and ahhing. Oh, is Jones ever going to make it to heavyweight? Is this Ngannou fight just going to fall like the other mega fights have fallen before, like a GSP versus Anderson Silva? Like, was the Francis Jones fight never going to happen? But hey, as soon as Francis got moved out of the company, fuck yeah, now John Jones can get back on the phone quick enough to Dana saying, "I want to fight a heavyweight against the guy that we all knew couldn't beat Jones." And when we were doing predictions, we were picking which minute that he was going to lose in Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
And I've got no issues with taking legacy fights. No issues. Yeah? But let's be honest, no one really cares about Stipe Jones, because if this fight was 6-7 years ago, I think I'll be a little bit more interested in this.
Even when it was originally made, I don't think anyone was really interested in it, if I'm going to be honest.
No. When it got announced, we were like, oh, all right, we don't like it. But, okay, we get this over and done with. John Jones will beat you quick. Then we get to move on to the good stuff. But no, he is, Jones got injured, had an interim. Tom won, devastating fashion, defended the belt, and Tom has been fairly respectful. I just want the opportunity.
Yeah.
I just want the opportunity, like Jones was given the opportunity for the belt. But no. His ego won't allow it, and Dana cannot afford to let someone beat Jones. Even though Dana's admitting, saying, "Oh, come on, I'm going to get Jones to fight." Jones is literally telling everyone, that I'm done after Stipe. And Dana still can't get it out of his head that, like, just like Khabib, you're not going to get him out of retirement. I think it's a disgrace. It is a disgrace. That whole promo is a disgrace. I agree with you, Callum. He shat on every single champion in that company. Any fighter in that company, he has just taken a dump on, thinking you ain't shit.
I never saw a promotion like this for Mighty Mouse.
Oh no, never. When you look at the championship wins, he's only two behind. He's only two in front of GSP. Now, if Amanda Nunes stuck around a bit, she would have overtaken him.
Yeah.
And then, so what we're going to do once Amanda Nunes, gets to 16? Are we calling her the GOAT of all goats?
Bro, so I tell you, the real killer is, if this Stipe Jones fight happens and then whoever wins and they both retire.
Well, Stipe's done. Dana says Stipe's done regardless if he wins.
He would have killed the heavyweight division effectively because of this decision.
Yeah.
No Francis Ngannou, no John Jones, no Stipe. You killed the heavyweight division. Because who is there credible for Tom to fight now? No one. Because he's beaten everyone so far who's credible.
Yeah. And then what are you going to do?
Apart from Cyril Gane.
Which, come on, let's be honest. That guy's not interested in fighting no more. That guy's interested in doing other things.
It's not even that. If Tom beats Cyril Gane, what's left for him?
Franklin Cat with a comment. So I agree with the Guru that Dana is on his way out and is just cashing out shamelessly. What did MMA Guru say that? It wouldn't surprise me.
Stipe Jones doesn't bring in a lot of money, I don't think. Unless he's going to really, really stack the card.
But he's not. He's not, because he's going to think Jones is still the draw that is gonna entice the people
Jones
in.
has never been a massive draw. Look, usually in boxing, the most skillful fighters aren't usually the biggest draws. Floyd was an exception. Terence Crawford is the most skilled boxer, along with Inoue. They're not the biggest draws in boxing. AJ and Canelo are.
Yeah.
Now, highly skilled fighters in their own right, of course. Tyson Fury, Usyk, highly skilled fighters. But the two biggest draws are is Canelo and Floyd before him. Floyd, again, you could argue Floyd was the most skillful and the biggest draw. Outside now, it's Canelo. It doesn't always work. Connor's the biggest draw in MMA. No one's ever going to call Connor the GOAT.
No.
The biggest draw. Nate Diaz is a bigger draw than John Jones. John Jones is a way better fighter.
Daz, big up, Daz. So big up. Any idea when UFC 305 is? I think that's been, isn't it?
Yeah, 305 has been and gone.
Yeah, 305's been and gone. It's UFC Noche, which is another shit show on its way. Didn't Dana say he had a certain amount of time to live or something? Yeah, and then Dana started doing these water fast bollocks and he's lost a lot of weight and's on the conspiracy thingamabob, putting all sorts of shit in his body. Would not be surprising if he's using the same juice as John Jones, let's be honest. And that's why Dana's got to talk nice to him, or else he's going to get dealt with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought I'd have to show it. Whether or not this is going to get the copyright strike, I highly doubt it, because I've played clips before, and I'm not monetized yet. So way can't demonetize me. So yeah, moving on. Merab. You know, another. Well, speaking about, if you're going from someone that is in Dana's good books, now we're going into someone that's in Dana's bad books.
Fully not in his good books. Fully not in his good books,
because I don't know if anyone was aware that Merab got a little injury, got a little bit cut above the eye, and instead of a normal fighter thinking that you should tell Dana, the UFC, they get it checked out properly. Oh no! Merab thought it would be funny to advertise himself getting stitched up. So now you're telling the world that you're injured. You're telling Sugar Sean O'Malley, who's literally come out on the podcast with an interview with Kevin Iole.
Yeah.
And literally went, I'm going to reopen that cut. Basically.
Smart thing to do.
Which is a smart thing to do. Now you are sort of, I don't know what you say, devaluing the main event. Because now we know that you're not 100% fit. And there was a video of him using rusty scissors to take out the stitching, which is mental. Clips of him drinking in bars, having shots, living the high life. It'd be hard to think that he's got a championship fight coming in literally like next weekend. Mental. And now he's got a staph infection. Well, what looks like a staph infection. If you see like the thumbnail, there's literally there's a staph infection on his arm.
Yeah.
And in an interview he did, he actually had to stop because a doctor came to check it, and apparently he's been cleared. What do you think of this, Callum?
So I've had staph infection, and it's horrible. I can't stress just how horrible it is. You feel so rough. You have to go on antibiotics. You usually have to have like a small surgery. It's horrible. It is horrible. So when these fighters get, it's not nice. With it being just over a week out until the fight, it's not going to be fully healed. Like, he's not. And I still go back, and even though Dustin won the fight, fair and square, and it was a great fight and a great performance by Dustin, the reason why I think Benoit Saint-Denis really attacked that fight and tried to get the finish so quickly is because I think he knew he wouldn't have the gas tank to go 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Which put himself in danger to go up against someone like a big hitter like Dustin. For Merab, he's been known as being a cardio king.
Yeah.
If your cardio is not there and you're having to really put yourself in the firing line against a sharpshooter like Sean O'Malley, you're in major, major trouble going into this fight. I had him losing like little spoiler alert, I had him losing on the way to the fight. If he has staph infection and it's like that right now, he's not winning that fight.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't really want to sort of spoilers for our preview next week, but Merab's biggest strength is being a cardio king, just like you said. And if the cardio's gone, then what's Merab? Like, what is Merab if he does not have his cardio? And for an event where the card isn't great, you're struggling to sell tickets. You still got about 2,000 tickets left to sell in the Sphere. So you're struggling to sell tickets. The card ain't great. And now one half of your main event has basically had his eye redone and has a staph infection. No wonder Dana's pissed. And this is where I understand why he does get pissed off at fighters when they take matters in their own hands, when the UFC does have world-class facilities. I'll just go through a couple of comments. As where's UFC 306 from? It's UFC Noche. I think that's UFC's 306 in the Sphere in a couple of weeks. And who's the backup, or will the fight be cancelled if Merab doesn't show up? I don't think there has been an announcement, about who's going to be the backup. Which I'm pretty sure that knowing the UFC, they'll have plans in place. But I can guarantee you it won't be Umar Nurmagomedov, because they're going to make sure that he gets a full camp for his title shot next. Who wins when AJ faces Triple D? Not going to tell you, because I'm going to plan to do a preview. Because I'm either going to do a watch along for it, or I may go to it. That is undecided. That will be to be confirmed. At the moment, it looks like that I'll be paying the pay-per-view and I'll be doing it at home. But if there is a will and if there's a way, I'll be going to Wembley to watch it. Because I do want to go to London and see one sporting event, and it was Bellator, but then they let us down.
They did.
They let us down big time. But spoiler, I think it'll be Anu. That's all I'm going to say. Anu. Any predictions without giving it away?
Oh,
I've got Anu.
I don't see how Triple D wins.
And that's all we're going to mention on it. That's all we're going to keep.
I don't see how he wins.
That's all we're going to keep. Right. I'll just, So with the Merab stuff, I'm not going to give too much away for predictions. Just like you, Callum, I did have him losing. He's just made his loss a little bit quicker, which isn't great, to be fair. But before I touch on our last subject, everyone that's tuned in, make sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. We're on the road to 300 subscribers.
Come on.
I think I'm on 226 at the moment. I am trying to work a way to get regular content out. There's lots of news and stuff like that, and so I need to make sure that I'm on my game in covering it. So there will definitely be something out tomorrow. But. So just trying to pull something up. I should have had this ready before. Right. I want to play the clip, but it would literally. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. Right. Jorge Masvidal. Remember him?
I do.
Former BMF champion. Former title contender. He's come out in an interview today saying he is 100% targeting a UFC return either this year or early 2025. When I get the biggest fights I can possibly get, I knock that mother effer out dead. They'll be begging me to fight for a title. A title run is never out the question, especially for somebody as skilled as me. I'm not going to show what else was in there. Else was in this interview because we'll go into more into depth of that tomorrow because there's some interesting names that he's pulled out on top of the preview for this week's card as well. But Callum, because obviously you've not heard the news, seen the news. This is probably the first you heard of it was literally before we went live.
Yeah.
So your thoughts, Masvidal targeting a UFC return? And do you think that it's the right thing, or do you think he's sort of coming back with his tail between his legs? Because let's be honest, the boxing thing didn't really work.
I actually don't think he's come back with his tail between his legs because I think he got blessing from the UFC to do it. He didn't have to like let his contract run down like a Nate or a Francis. He actually got blessing from the UFC to do it. I always thought the plan was for him to go away from UFC, maybe fight a couple times in boxing, maybe Misfits or something like that, make some good money, and then eventually come back to the octagon. The problem he's got, look, I love Masvidal. Masvidal, in my opinion, made the welterweight division boom again.
Yes.
Became one of the biggest draws in MMA, full stop, because he was getting devastating knockouts and having great performances against people like Nate Diaz. Masvidal in 2024/2025, in my opinion, won't get close to a title. I'd love to be wrong because I'd love to see someone like him get a title. His career deserves it.
Yeah. Theo said with a comment, this division would eat him up.
Theo's right. Like, I look from all the way down from, I mean, Wonderboy Thompson. I don't think he beats Wonderboy Thompson. I don't think he beats Brady. I don't think he beats, well, he's lost to Gilbert already. Doesn't beat Kamaru. Colby, I don't know what version of Colby we'll get
We're
ever
not
again.
running that shit back again. No way.
No, we're not running that again.
Watch.
Cat, absolutely not. Oh, I want to say a name, but I don't want to ruin potentially the show tomorrow.
I'll mention one because I don't think you mentioned it. Michael Venom Page. It's definitely one.
Okay, well, he wasn't one who I was going to mention.
Yeah. He will be touched on because he touches on that particular name in an interview with another name and another name. But we'll go into that more detail tomorrow. I thought we'd just drop it in.
Surely the fight's Leon, no?
He did mention his name as someone that he'd be interested in.
I won't go into it then.
I'll just touch on it briefly because he did mention other names. So we'll touch on Leon, but I'll touch on the other guys that may be more interesting. Obviously, this would be interesting. Let's touch on Leon. For me, this makes sense. Him versus Leon. I'll just get off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Him versus Leon makes the most sense, right?
Yeah,
because we're thinking about what's next for Leon Edwards. Obviously, 2P Santa Soto needs to get revenge. Make that in London, please. Run that back in London.
I don't think they'll do that in London. I think they'll do that. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that in Miami.
Yeah. This makes sense because we were thinking like, what's Leon going to do next? Ian Gary? Yes, it's got a bit of a feud brewing from when Ian Gary trained, and then you look at the other names that didn't really inspire us. But this fight inspires me. Could probably inspire Leon. Let's be honest, he was very lackluster in that fight against Bilal, and
he was
in periods against Usman. He was on cruise control.
Yeah.
And I feel like a fight like this, I don't know whether or not this is just how Leon typically fights, that is on cruise control, wants to make everything technically sound. But this fight against Masvidal would, one, make a lot of money. There's a bit of blood feud coming into it. And it could reignite Leon back towards the title, or it gives Masvidal the leg up.
Yeah.
As well. So don't know if I want to see a Masvidal Bilal fight though. Or Kamaru.
I think the Leon fight makes all the sense in the world. As you said, for me, Leon, I don't think if Leon beats Masvidal, he gets a title shot off the back of it. What it does do, it boosts his profile, makes him some good money, and gets his confidence back going. To put him in a position also to get one of the higher ranked opponents, which could potentially line him up for another title fight if he were to win that fight. For Masvidal, you're getting to fight one of the top ranked welterweights, again, making good money. And the carrot is, if I go and beat Leon Edwards, I will get a title shot because my name's Masvidal. I'm a massive draw, and I would have just beaten #1 in the world.
And I'm the last
How
person
this
before a
fight-
million pay-per-view buys in that
Yeah,
division.
like how this fight wouldn't make sense for me. Unless Leon says flat out, no, I don't want to fight him, which again for me would be a silly move from Leon.
I doubt.
Then
I doubt
well,
it.
he might
because-
look at it and go, well, how do I benefit from this? But I believe I listed a few things where he would benefit. So if he gets offered the fight, I hope to God he takes it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just think when it just makes sense. I'm sure the money will be there, but it just makes sense. Make it in London, please. Don't make it in Miami. Make it in London. But this time, just make it at a fucking decent time. Don't make it like the cut. Don't make it like UFC with Aspinall Blaze at like fucking US time in the US. You absolute numpties. Yeah, but hopefully that doesn't happen. Any other comments? Anything else you want to touch on before we go? Anything that we've not touched on already?
No, just again the Bilal Shavkat stuff. I don't understand how that's not being made yet.
Yeah, but John Alnick sort of protecting his boy.
Yeah, also like the Pereira moving down to 85. I still think he's overlooking Khalil. I can't. Someone said, so after the Dana White Contender Series, he was quizzed about Alex going down and said, look, if he's going down to 85, would he ever go back up to heavyweight? And Dana was kind of like, look, he's just a guy that likes to fight.
Such a hypocrite.
I think it just. Can you see me?
No, you've got.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, I can. Yeah, hopefully my camera will come back in a sec. Yeah, I just think it's a case of. I think Alex is trying to be three-weight world champion. I'll be honest, with everything he's done for the company, if he says he wants something at the moment, I think he's one of the few fighters that's actually earned the right to just say, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, he's well in the right to tell Dana what. Don't we know? Yeah, let's see how that works out for you. For me personally, I do think that's how it goes. It just feels. I find it a bit odd though that he's willing to let him drop down. Just find that very odd.
It's because he wants to. I'm gonna try and come out and come back in. Give me a sec.
Yeah. I just find that a little bit odd. I just think the whole Bilal, Shavkat, Usman, even Cejudo's gotten involved, which is a bit weird. That deserves probably a video to touch on in great detail, because it feels a bit odd with Bilal, because he said that he wants to be a fighting champ, which is, we deserve fighting champs in the UFC, especially as fans. Then Shavkat comes out and goes, I got offered him at UFC 307, and Bilal said no due to scheduling conflicts. I was just touching on like the whole Bilal, Shavkat, Kamaru, even Triple C's getting involved in the beef, which is a bit odd because Bilal said when he got the belt, I want to be a fighting champ. Yes, that's what we love to hear. Then Shavkat comes out in an interview and said, I got offered Bilal for UFC 307, which I accepted, but Bilal said no because of scheduling.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, you're supposed to be a fighting champ, but you're not a fighting champ, which I understand because of scheduling conflicts. But when you say something, fans would expect you to keep to your word, sort of thing. But then they've gone through a back and forward. It's just a bit weird. I do feel like that it's Shavkat and Usman trying to see who can drum up the more interest for a potential fight for Bilal, for him to make the most money. Because I do believe Bilal's losing the belt when next time he fights. And he's probably thinking, which one can I drive the most interest up so I can get the most money? The most pay-per-view points. Because I do believe he loses the belt.
I do as well.
So, which is a bit odd. We'll probably touch on it in more detail because literally Kamaru did the Conor McGregor. Who the fuck is that guy? 2 years ago, the guy was fucking nutty. He got my belt.
Yeah,
That's probably the way Kamara's probably thinking about it. So
yeah, probably. But
Yeah.
still have to respect Bilal. He won out and he won it fair and square.
went out, he got the job done, unfortunately.
Yeah.
For us Brits, but hey ho, did what he needed to do.
He did. He did the business.
I'd like him to fight at the end of the year. He'll probably fight early next year because if he's smart, he'll drag this out for as long as he can. You drag it out for as long as he can.
Yeah. Agreed.
But anyway, we'll probably call it there for tonight. A good 40 minutes, cover some good stuff.
I'm
Callum,
enjoying
got anything coming up on the Sanderson Show and on Coppish?
Not this week. Not for the rest of the week. I haven't. With Coppish, potentially something tomorrow during the day or the evening. So yeah, probably on something on Coppish. Don't know if I'll have anything else going out on the Sanderson Show this week. We'll see.
Yeah, so tomorrow's gonna be a juicy one. We'll touch on the UFC this weekend. We'll touch on basically we'll probably touch on the welterweight division as a whole, go into more in depth in Bilal, Shavkat, Usman, Triple C, Royal Rumble feud. We'll talk about Burns, Brady's comments about people saying he got fraud checked by Bilal.
Yeah.
And then we'll touch on Jorge Masvidal a little bit more because he mentioned about possibly wanting to fight Michael Chandler, Max Holloway for the BMF belt, and more. So make sure to tune in tomorrow, probably roughly the same time at 11 p.m. But I'll keep you guys updated. That Ilya Max card can't come soon enough.
Yeah,
Still
tell
not
me about it.
confirmed yet. Still not confirmed. What is that confirmed?
Yeah, the Ilya Max
yeah.
card. Yeah.
It's
far as I
been a
know,
long
yeah.
week. It's been a long week. Yeah, but everyone that's tuned in, make sure to smash the like button, share button. Make sure to subscribe to Coppish Sanderson Show. Subscribe to Jamie Phillips' Football Chats as well. And I've still got the GoFundMe link in the description from the walk I did a couple of weeks ago. I thought I'd just keep it in there, raise a bit more money for the domestic support. Domestic support unit in Wrexham.
There you go.
So that's still going to be there for quite a while. Just if anyone wants to donate for the walk that we did, that I nearly died on. That I nearly died on. That would be very, very, very much appreciated. But until then, until next time, we will see you all very soon.